Hi, my name is Jim Kerstein. I'm the author of The Butcher's Guide. It was written to save you money and to help you buy the best meat you can buy. What I'm going to show you today is how I prepare a rib roast for roasting. What I have here is a 2-rib rib roast from the chuck end. And folks like to know where it comes from, so I have a little illustration here. A whole beef rib is 7 ribs, and what I have here is 2 of the ribs from the chuck end. And the way you can tell the chuck end is because it has a kernel of fat in the middle of it. And sometimes on the chuck end it'll also have a kernel of fat. This one is pretty lean on this end. You can kind of see that. Anyway, I just want to set this here, give you an idea where it comes from. This would be the chuck end of the beef, and this would be the whole beef rib, the other 5 ribs. And then the loin end is where the short loin and the New Yorks come from. Okay, so we're going to get started on this baby. What I've got here, the butcher already took the time to tie a string around it and cut the bones off, so we're going to cut those strings off. I like to further process a little bit so we can season it from the inside. And you can see the bones come off real easily. It's really a pretty simple process. You just need to follow the natural seams in the meat. What we're going to do, you can see the fat there on the end. I'm just going to push the knife in and kind of, you push and pull at the same time with your knife, and you can just lift that fat right out of there. I know lots of times the rib roast is roasted with the fat in it, but for me it just ends up on the plate and I just don't like to see it, don't like to eat it. So we're going to cut that out. And the other advantage is when we take this fat out of the inside here, we can season the meat on the inside as well. It's pretty easy. You just want to slide your knife across. You don't want to cut into the meat, and you don't need to remove all the fat. Just you want to remove the kernels of it. The other thing we're going to do here, we're going to take and we're going to remove the tail of the roast as well. Just cut down sharply. This has a little meat on it there too, so we'll leave that on. The fat on the top, you pretty much want to leave that on. Now what we have is a nice open rib roast, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to rub the inside with a bit of olive oil. It helps the seasonings stick better if I do this, I found. And then it's just simple seasoning. I'm going to put salt, pepper, and granulated garlic. It's really all it needs. You can add herbs if you like. There's really no limit, and you can be very generous too. So we're going to sprinkle some granulated garlic throughout the middle. And heavy with that. I'm going to put a generous amount of salt as well. Okay. And then we're going to take some fresh cracked pepper. Season it well with that too. Now the other part of this, what we need to do is when we roll this back up, is we need to make sure it's tied without that hole in the middle. You can see the end, how nice and lean that looks, what a nice lean serving that's going to make. And then we're going to take and put a string around it. I do have a video out teaching how to tie this knot, so we'll just go ahead and tie it. I won't teach you how to tie the knot, we'll just tie the knot. What you need to do is just put a couple of strings around it, pop it down. You can tell what we have here is just a nice lean rib roast that when you serve it, it's going to be real easy to serve, and there's not going to be a lot of fat and little pieces left on your plate when you eat dinner. If you can imagine, if you cooked it the way it was, this is a pretty good sized pile of fat. It's all going to be on your guest plates, and that's pretty unattractive. Okay, with that done, we're going to season the outside of the roast. Same process. Bit of oil, and then we're going to do the bones as well on both sides. Put some on the inside, and again, just pretty heavy hand is perfectly fine with all of this. The bones are nice cut, and then just go all around the roast. A little bit on the ends too. Same thing with the salt. Again, just be very generous. Really, this is just going to make a nice crust on the roast is what it's going to do. Same thing with the bones. We'll do both sides of those. Then we'll take and we'll do a little fresh cracked pepper as well.
What kind of salt are you using?
I'm using kosher salt. Thank you for asking. That's the voice of my lovely cinematographer wife, Debbie. She does a nice job. Anyway, so what we have here again now is a nice trimmed, easy to serve rib roast. Still want to cook it on the bone, so we're going to put it back on the bone. I'm going to need to dry my hands here. A little greasy with all that oil. And we're going to put it on the bone, and then we're just going to tie it back on the bones. Get it ready to roast. Same process, just a couple of strings. All you need to do is tie it to the bones. You're going to roast it bone side down, just as you would as if it were still on the bones. Again, the advantage is it's just easier to serve when it's all done. Cut that off. We'll get one more string around that. Now this roast, what you're going to want to do when it's all done is you're going to let it set at room temperature for at least an hour. Even longer is fine. To warm up before you put it in the oven. I'm going to cook this on the grill actually. Just use my grill as an oven. Nice string on there. And use a meat thermometer. That's the real key to cooking good rib roast. Use a meat thermometer. Pull it out at 125 degrees for medium rare, 130 degrees for a more medium doneness. It's going to gain 7 to 10 degrees as it rests, and you should let it rest for at least 20 minutes after you take it out. So there we are. Nice holiday rib roast. Doesn't look so pretty like this, but when you take it off the bone and serve it, it looks gorgeous. Good luck. Thanks.